Like I said, today we're going to talk to Mr. Dameon Russell. When we come back from the break, I'm telling you, Dameon Russell, the author of Financial Literacy and Ownership, what they don't want us to know, we want you to know about it, okay? So I don't want you to go away. In fact, I think I might open up the phone lines, too, after we get him on the line. And we'll talk about that. Stay tuned for more of About Your Money Radio.
Did you know in the United States, someone suffers a heart attack every 34 seconds? According to statistics, an American suffers a stroke every 40 seconds. Diagnosis of cancer is on the rise, with the average age being 38 years. Many will survive these devastating health issues, yet will be unable to provide for their families and go bankrupt in the process. Fortunately, there is a solution. Discover free living benefits. Free living benefits protect you should you live. The new type of life insurance can be tailored to not only provide for your loved ones should you die, but most importantly, provide access to cash while you're still alive. Discover free living benefits to help preserve your home, keep your business open, or money for your bills. Find out more by visiting understandinglivingbenefits.com or call 916-238-8282. That's 916-238-8282.
Is bad credit controlling your life? Lee Davis of New Start Credit Consulting can assist you with a free, no-obligation credit consultation and analysis. As a certified credit counselor and report reviewer with extensive knowledge and experience helping consumers nationally, Lee Davis can help you get back on the path to great credit. To schedule your free no-obligation credit consultation, call Lee Davis at 916-812-9753. That's 916-812-9753.
Money 105.5, a service of Salem Media Group.
Educating, empowering, engaging about your money with financial strategist Michael Andrews Jr., helping you navigate your life towards financial transformation. And now, back to the show.
Okay, welcome back to About Your Money Radio. I really appreciate our listeners staying tuned with us and communicating with us on a weekly basis. We really thank you, okay? But let me get right to business here, because I have been waiting all week to interview this guy. You know, I've been anticipating. I've been feeling like a kid, getting ready to go to the amusement park. You know, the family vacation trip. You know, that's how I feel right now. And now here it is, the day. Now I get to interview Mr. Dameon Russell. Now Dameon Russell is not just an author of Financial Literacy and Ownership. He's also the co-founder of the Russell Group, 25-year veteran of real estate finance and business development. Of course, he has been basically a noted sales and productivity trainer and coach, and he's also a branch owner in real estate, mortgage, and insurance, and he specializes in commercial finance. He's done a number of things in real estate development as well, and he's going to talk to us today about his book. We're gonna, we got some questions for him, because I want to see where his head is at. I think you're going to want to see it too, and I believe you're going to get it. Dameon Russell, welcome to the broadcast. How are you?
Very good, Michael. Good morning.
Good morning. I am pretty thrilled to have you on the line today. And, going over your book, I'll let the folks know. Yeah, I do have a small piece in there that you wanted to interview me on. So, I have a small part that I contributed. But the basis of your book, man, I tell you, when you presented it to me, I was just floored. And, what brought you to, what mindset did you got to have to, bring this out? Because you are an amazing writer. You wrote this. There was no ghostwriter. You wrote it, and
Right.
you edited it. But tell me something. What brought you to writing this book?
It was passion. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's a subject I've always been passionate about. I think it's something that's just sorely lacking as you look around in our community, and then as you begin to understand some of the implications or the impacts of that lacking, you just can't help but, I think, feel compelled to do something about it if you can.
Right. And that's the thing, passion, and knowing you have a strong passion to the arena of finance. especially, with the black community. And we have had extensive talks and conversations, not just us, but a number of our colleagues and business partners. We've talked about financial awareness, financial literacy with the black community, what we feel the black community is not doing, what their focus seems to be as a whole. And, with your book, when we look at financial literacy and ownership, when you refer to ownership, let's talk about that. So why don't you explain what the ownership, ownership of what?
Sure. We look around in the black community, and this is not a recent observation. This is me growing up and understanding the world around me at an early age from a different perspective than perhaps the average Joe. But when I talk about ownership in the book, in the title itself, I'm talking about ownership of everything, ownership of assets, ownership of things of value, ownership of intellectual property, corporations, manufacturing rights, all the things that lead to, in fact, talking to you on this radio show, certainly you and I have had conversations about control of and ownership of media in the black community and how important and impactful that is. So we're talking about ownership of assets, things that lead toward legacy. When you look around the black community, as I did, I realized we didn't own the movie theaters we were watching movies in, nor the production companies that were making those movies. We didn't own the cars we were driving in terms of the manufacturers of those cars, or even some of the dealerships at a higher level. The streets we drove on, the neighborhoods we lived in, we didn't build those neighborhoods, those communities. We were renters or part-time owners, if you will, in those communities. So I talk about ownership as a basis of having a financial presence in the game.
Mm-hmm. Now, when we look at various communities, it's me coming from, I'm going to tell you, Berkeley, California, the melting pot of the world. I'm going to say it's a melting pot. We know that, and different cultures, different race. It's amazing. It's a melting pot.
Right.
And where I live, I tell you, my block alone was a melting pot. And so, when I look at things, I look at how the Asian community has their economic center. You have, in fact, you go to New York. We see different economic hubs, if you will, with various communities, but we don't see that with the black community. You don't see that, them having their own banks, their own businesses where the money stays in the community. So, with that being said, do you think that blacks have been conditioned to accept mediocrity as actual success?
Absolutely. And I could talk about that. That's a whole show for me. I absolutely believe that it's just generations and generations of Willie Lynchism where we're pitted against one another mentally, and we feel that that's the status quo, where we're pushed toward success monitors, or I struggle to find the right way to say this, but I don't want to offend certain people. But we talk about success and we're showing examples of success from celebrity athletes, entertainers, music stars, and so on and so forth. And let's face it, that's a 1 in a million success, literally 1 in a million. 1 in a million. 1 in a million success in terms of people being paid or over the $1 million mark, or at the high end of their sport, or the whatever the career is. Those people are 1 in a million. So we're showing examples of 1 in a million success, and then told, that's what we can strive for as success. We're not shown other measures or other examples of success. So when you are shooting for the moon and you're on a bicycle, it's hard to imagine that at some point you'll ever reach the moon. So what do? We settle for points less traveled or in between, far below the moon. So these things, I'll name a few. A good job. We're conditioned in the black community to think that a good job is the be all of it, and talking to you about insurance, people accept the 401k, their good job, mere death benefit insurance instead of real retirement planning and legacy planning and so forth. That's what we're conditioned to accept as success. So when we have a good job and we have our 401k and we've got some death benefit insurance in place, we walk around and I say we as general in the black community, and we deem that to be successful.
You know, and I have to agree with you, and we've had our conversations, and you know, myself being, I would say, mixed race. You know, my mom is, you know, Hispanic, Cuban, my dad Black, Creole. I'm all mixed up, man. I'm all mixed up, and but you know, seeing from both sides, you know, Black community, Hispanic community, there's been a lack of information. There's been you know, a sense of, as you just mentioned, you know, the mediocrity, you know, accepting average, accepting just being mediocre as a form of success when there's so much more. You know, I would have to go on and say, too, that, you know, me being in the financial arena and, of course, attempting to, you know, educate all people, I find that most of my clients are actually non-Black. And it's really interesting when we see financial literacy courses or financial situations, you know, and you're in that, you know, with real estate and commercial financing and mortgages, you're into all of that, and you see it too. And there's a sense of frustration. I mean, when we look at that, you know, what can be the single biggest obstruction to Black empowerment? I mean, you know, what's the answer to that? And when we do everything we possibly can to bring about relevant information that we know can help.
The single biggest obstruction to Black empowerment today is a lack of financial literacy. Mm-hmm. Not having the and I cannot overstate it because it's impossible to overstate this fact. That is the one thing. I mean, people, it's not about a protest. It's not about the dominant society holding you back anymore, because the basis to achieve a greater financial literacy as a people, as a person, as anybody, is information, knowledge. And there are no barriers to obtaining information and knowledge in this day and age. It's there and it's available for you as it is for me and the guy next to me and the gal behind me. It's available for everyone equally. So as we talk about and we answer that question, the single biggest obstruction right now to Black empowerment as a community is a lack of financial literacy and understanding and awareness, and of course ownership.
You know, that's a great point, you know, the lack of financial literacy. And when I think about that, though, Dameon, I think about, you know, is there even a desire? Because, you know, some months ago, there was a huge event nationwide. It was Financial Planning Day. And where people from all over the country were able to go to a specific city throughout the country for free to speak to financial advisors on a myriad of you know, topics. And
right.
it was a rainy day, kind of a, you know, overcast, light shower, you know, Saturday morning. There were over 450 people in attendance here in the Sacramento area. I counted. I was there for hours, and I attended a number of workshops. I counted maybe 25 minorities. I mean, just
right.
And it's frustrating. It really is. So, you know, it makes me feel that, you know, well, we're doing all we can, but in the Black community, are those of us who acquire knowledge obligated to then share that knowledge? I mean, I know the answer to that, but what's your take on that?
Obviously, that's a good question, and we all know the answer. If those among us who are socially conscious, whether we're Black, white, Indian, pink, yellow, whatever, if you acquire knowledge, of course, in a society, we should feel obligated to share that knowledge. I think overall, then that's true. Within the Black community, I think it's imperative, because the information that we're not getting is, as I said, it's attainable. However, it's due to years, as I say again, of Willie Lynchism and institutional racism in this country that have prevented us not from necessarily in recent times acquiring that information. In the past, we were absolutely prohibited from acquiring it. Now, not so much. In recent history, not so much. But it was a pattern to deprioritize these things for us in the Black community. We've been distracted as a Black community. We've been sufficiently distracted to pursue trivial pursuits. and sometimes nonsensical pursuits. Instead of what we really, and I'll say it like this, having our eye on the prize. We've not had our eye on the prize. So to me, it's a matter of prioritization. So in the black community, because of those, that historical distraction, and I'm picking my words carefully, so forgive the pauses. But
it's all right.
Because of those distractions, we have been deprioritized or conditioned to deprioritize certain things that should absolutely be priorities. So because of that, it is absolutely imperative that if those among us do acquire this essential knowledge, it's imperative that we share it because we have not been getting it elsewhere.
You know, Dameon, man, we can go for hours and hours, as we have in the past. And folks, we're talking with Dameon Russell. He's the author of Financial Literacy and Ownership, What They Don't Want Us to Know. And it's a great book, and I encourage you to get it. It's available on Amazon, and, read it. In fact, before we go to a break, I want to talk about the read part because, I'm going to say it because I remember when you talked to me about your idea for the book, I said, I'm going to admit it, I'm going to be transparent to my listeners today. And because I don't want you to bust me out. but actually, let's do this here. I'm going to take a break. I want to come back to this because it's a funny story. It's a true story, but it's a reality that, that we have to face. And it's a question that we have to answer. So Dameon, stay tuned, stay on the line. Folks, don't go away. We're going to continue our conversation with Dameon Russell. Financial Literacy and Ownership, What They Don't Want Us to Know. Excellent book. We'll be right back.
Is bad credit controlling your life? Lee Davis of New Start Credit Consulting can assist you with a free, no-obligation credit consultation and analysis. As a certified credit counselor and report reviewer with extensive knowledge and experience helping consumers nationally, Lee Davis can help you get back on the path to great credit. To schedule your free no-obligation credit consultation, call Lee Davis at 916-812-9753. That's 916-812-9753.
Did you know in the United States someone suffers a heart attack every 34 seconds? According to statistics, an American suffers a stroke every 40 seconds. Diagnosis of cancer is on the rise, with the average age being 38 years. Many will survive these devastating health issues, yet will be unable to provide for their families and go bankrupt in the process. Fortunately, there is a solution. Discover Free Living Benefits. Free Living Benefits protects you should you live. The new type of life insurance can be tailored to not only provide for your loved ones should you die, but most importantly, provide access to cash while you're still alive. Discover Free Living Benefits to help preserve your home, keep your businesses open, or money for your bills. Find out more by visiting understandinglivingbenefits.com or call 916-238-8282. That's 916-238-8282.
As a business owner, it's vital to receive every available tax credit and incentive from the IRS. But how can you be assured that you're receiving every tax credit from Uncle Sam? With many tax laws in place, it's difficult for the average bookkeeper to stay current with the ever-changing laws. That's why you need Romo Incentives Group. For over 15 years, Romo Incentives Group have worked with companies of all sizes, including publicly traded corporations, to save its clients tens of millions of dollars. Their staff includes CPAs, industry experts, as well as former IRS and franchise tax auditors who have extensive experience in tax incentive programs. Take advantage of their no-cost evaluation to see if the IRS owes your business. Call business specialist Lamar Baxter today by dialing 916-941-8801. That's 916-941-8801.
When you're in the car, get your daily Money and Biz fix at 105.5 FM. And at work, listen online at money1055.biz.
This is the Wall Street Business Network.
Educating, empowering, engaging about your money with financial strategist Michael Andrews Jr., helping you navigate your life towards financial transformation. And now, back to the show.
Thank you for staying in tune with us. We're talking with Dameon Russell today. Financial literacy and ownership, what they don't want us to know. A great book just came out, actually, just a few months ago, and I'm encouraging our listeners to get it. In fact, we'll show you how to get that book later on the broadcast. Now, Dameon, before we took the break, we were on a question. I don't want to get away from it because it's putting me in a transparent situation that I don't mind being put in right now. But I want to be honest with the folks, and because I know you're going to be honest too, and because I don't want you to blast me out. So I'm going to now we talked about when you first talked to me about the idea for the book, and you told me what you were doing. And I mentioned something about reading. And I said, now, black folks don't hardly read. Did I say that?
Yes.
Now, I'm laughing because, I did say that. But, here's the reality. It's true. Now, of course, we're not painting this with a broad paintbrush and saying, oh, we're not doing that. But the thing is, you read, I read. We have our schedule of reading, and we have audiobooks. We have things in which we do on a monthly basis to gain knowledge. But the reality is there's so many folks out there, and we're talking about the black community today. They're focused on, many are focused on, the buffoonery of the BET award type show situation. That is not a representation of the black community that is attempting to gain financial literacy and do things on a positive level, on a high level. But talk to me about that. Let's talk about the reading aspect of it. As a whole, you wrote this book knowing that maybe, a whole lot of black folks don't read.
Yeah, you're right. And I will take you off the hook a bit to say that along my colleagues.
You said a bit? You're going to take me off the hook just a little bit?
You were not the only one among my colleagues who made that or similar statements. The reality is, I'll be transparent to some of my colleagues who I respect and trust told me that, why are you doing this? You're putting a lot of effort into doing this. Maybe, you want to get the message out. I understand that. Maybe put it in a rap video or a video audio message with some hip hop playing behind it. Or
wow.
People literally said that to me.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously, you see which way I sided because I continued and pressed on, and I did finish the book. So it was that important to me. The question was, that I heard, do black people really purchase and read books? And as you're saying, we're talking very, very broadly, very generally here, so about a community. So it's a communal level conversation. However, the reality is, as a community, let's talk like that. We've been distracted. We've been, the buffoonery, as you say. There's some show, I'm probably going to mispronounce the title, the Hip Hop Wives of Atlanta or whatever it's called. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And this is the type of stuff that we've been conditioned to believe has value. That is, as I said earlier in the show, is the type of thing that we've been led to believe indicates real success. That is not success. It's hardly legacy. It's wealth for maybe one lifetime, not generations, as is indicated with true legacy. The reality is, as a community, we cannot be expected to covet or value what we do not know about. I'll say that differently. We can't covet what we don't value, and we cannot value what we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, the lack of financial literacy in the household and black communities in general, from the time we're growing up to the time we come into adolescence and young adulthood, and then beyond that, we're just not getting it. This is a message that is sailing way over our head. We're not getting it. We're being distracted, and we're buying into it. We're drinking the Kool-Aid from some phenomenal camp that has us all just bamboozled.
Wow. You are running for office?
I'm just tired of it.
Man, Dameon, I really admire your thinking on this because it's not a broad brush by any means. There are a number of, and we've talked to them. In fact, we do business with many people in the black community who, of course, are who think the way we think in terms of getting the word out. And oftentimes, when I'm doing a seminar somewhere, and I said, look, the information that we're sharing today, it's all about you passing on. This is a relay race. It is about you passing on the information to the next generation, to the next community, to the next set of people who are willing to listen, because society as a whole, I mean, when we look at it, and I know we're talking about the black community, but when we look at it as a whole, you know, and we look at what mass media is doing, the type of information that's on the internet, what's put out there on the shows, doing prime time, the movies out there, it is, in my opinion, a orchestrated effort, a strategic effort to keep people dumbed down, diluted, so that they do not become or do not increase their knowledge in becoming a critical thinker. Because,
exactly,
in my opinion, and in the opinion of many other people, that the system, and I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, what you said, the game, as you said, you know, they desire the people to be diluted in their knowledge and dumbed down, totally entertained, so that they're not focused on the critical issues at hand. Now, in your book, you do write a great deal about the game, as you say, and increasing your awareness of the game. Now, without going too deep with it, what is the significance or the value of that heightened awareness?
Very, very good question. The game, to me, is everything. I love this country. I love the idea of this country. But I'm not foolish enough to believe that this country is really about a democracy. This country is a capitalist society. It's all about capitalism. And I, admittedly, and as you say earlier, full transparency, I am a capitalist. I love capitalism. It's not evil. Some of the portrayers or purveyors of capitalism in the past may be the evil ones. However, capitalism itself is not at all evil. As they say, you know, don't hate the game, hate the player.
Right.
If the players in the game, some of them have evil intent or malintent. The game itself is just pure capitalism. So when we talk about the value of understanding the game and having a heightened awareness, and you're right, we don't have time today to talk about the game. Please, 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 black people, purchase this book and understand the game. But the reality is, we can discuss briefly the awareness or the importance or the impact of a heightened awareness of the game. And that is simply to say that you might not be aware of the game, but I assure you, every single day when you get up and you go to work or you punch your time clock or you're doing whatever you're doing out there, particularly in the interest of being a consumer, you are participating in the game. You're one of those unwitting, unknowledgeable or unknowing participants in the game. You're being moved about the playing field like pawns on a chessboard. You just have no awareness of that. And there's no chains keeping you in that position other than ignorance. Break that chain. Join the game as a player and not a pawn. And the only way you can do that is to increase your awareness and heighten your knowledge of the game.
You know, this strong talk, Dameon. Strong talk, but it's right talk, and people need to, you know, raise up to begin to understand, you know, the information that's out there, you know, and yeah, we're talking about the black community, and I'll tell you right now, for those of you who are not part of the black community, it's not, you know, we're not, you know, raising our black gloved fists in the air.
Oh no,
it's this
no,
is not.
We've done that. I'm glad you said that. We've done that. That's and what has it gotten us? So this is not about. Being black and being empowered is not about depowering anyone else.
There you go.
It's simply about empowering yourself.
There you go. I'm glad you said that, Dameon. That's really amazing. Now, you know, we got a few minutes. In fact, what I'm going to do, because I got more questions for you, that, you know, it's going to take us to the end of the, you know, this segment. But I'm going to actually bring you back on after the segment, so I don't want you to go away. But the thing is, too, real quickly here, you know, you write about racism and prejudice as two totally separate things. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about that.
Right, and I love that question. That discussion is something that we should be having at a communal level nationally among us in the black community, and understanding that when someone says the N-word or they talk about some sort of slight or there are many ways it can be put, and right now it's being deemed racism. So when you talk about hatred, this is not racism. This is prejudice. It's bad. It's just as bad. It's prejudice. It's hatred. It's evil, but it is not racism. Please understand that racism is institutional. It can only be institutional. So back during this say pre-civil rights movements, when we were turmoiled in segregation as a nation, and there were color-only water fountains and white-only water fountains. That is institutional racism, because who has the ability to do that? That was legislated. You understand the difference? That was legislated. So who has the ability to legislate racism, to legislate prejudice? Is essentially the best way to put it. Racism is often state-inspired, let's face it, state-inspired, legislated prejudice. Mm-hmm. That's what institutional racism is. So without the institution, you can't have racism. You take the institution out, you take the state out, you take the legislation out of it, and you're just dealing with prejudice and hatred. It is once it becomes institutional and it's systemically and systematically oppressive, that's when it is deemed racism. So we need as a people to understand the difference. You walk around and you see Joe Schmo over there who says the N-word, and you hear them talking about blacks or other minorities in some form or fashion. That's not racism. Let's get it clear. That's prejudice and hatred. And the real racism as we've known it has been extremely impactful and harmful to the black community. It started back with Willie Lynchism and all of that. And it's a deep topic. I won't get into it too much, but in the book, I want people to understand the very significant difference between prejudice and racism, and the fact that what we so easily call racism today is simply not. It's just prejudice. And hatred.
Good points. What I'm going to do is we're going to take a break. I wanted you to finish that. That's why I just kind of hesitated. But after the break, I want you to stay with us because I have a couple questions I want to get to you on. Folks, we're talking with Dameon Russell, Financial Literacy and Ownership. He's the author of that book, What They Don't Want Us to Know. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more of About Your Money Radio.
Did you know in the United States, someone suffers a heart attack every 34 seconds? According to statistics, an American suffers a stroke every 40 seconds. Diagnosis of cancer is on the rise, with the average age being 38 years. Many will survive these devastating health issues, yet will be unable to provide for their families and go bankrupt in the process. Fortunately, there is a solution. Discover free living benefits. Free living benefits protect you should you live. The new type of life insurance can be tailored to not only provide for your loved ones should you die, but most importantly, provide access to cash while you're still alive. Discover free living benefits to help preserve your home, keep your business open, or money for your bills. Find out more by visiting understandinglivingbenefits.com or call 916-238-8282. That's 916-238-8282. 8282.
Is bad credit controlling your life? Lee Davis of New Start Credit Consulting can assist you with a free, no-obligation credit consultation and analysis. As a certified credit counselor and report reviewer with extensive knowledge and experience helping consumers nationally, Lee Davis can help you get back on the path to great credit. To schedule your free no-obligation credit consultation, call Lee Davis at 916-812-9753. That's 916-812-9753.
As a business owner, it's vital to receive every available tax credit and incentive from the IRS. But how can you be assured that you're receiving every tax credit from Uncle Sam? With many tax laws in place, it's difficult for the average bookkeeper to stay current with the ever-changing laws. That's why you need Romo Incentives Group. For over 15 years, Romo Incentives Group have worked with companies of all sizes, including publicly traded corporations, to save its clients tens of millions of dollars. Their staff includes CPAs, industry experts, as well as former IRS and franchise tax auditors who have extensive experience in tax incentive programs. Take advantage of their no-cost evaluation to see if the IRS owes your business. Call business specialist Lamar Baxter today by dialing 916-941-8801. That's 916-941-8801.
Ray Lucia and the Brain Trust are coming up next on Sacramento's new Money 105.5 and Money1055.biz.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Educating, empowering, engaging about your money with financial strategist Michael Andrews Jr., helping you navigate your life towards financial transformation. And now, back to the show.
Okay, I'm going to finish up our conversation with Mr. Dameon Russell, author of Financial Literacy and Ownership, What They Don't Want Us to Know. Now, Dameon, I want you to, I got a few minutes here, and in fact, in about 2 minutes, I want to finish this up because I got to get some other things, but man, I got to get you to really elaborate on some things that I feel that are important to the people. Now, your book, Financial Literacy, now, I was looking at this, and I was like, wait a minute. People need to know, well, what is financial literacy?
Financial literacy, and I can be very brief with that because it's succinct. Financial literacy is the language of the game. So if you're going to understand the game, increase your awareness of the game, that it's going on all around you at all times, and it's basically capitalism, then you need to understand and be able to speak the language of a capitalist, and financial literacy is that language.
Excellent, excellent. Now, to be completely accurate, let's think about this for a second. Your book, fully titled, Financial Literacy and Ownership, What They Don't Want Us to Know. Who is they? And what is it that they don't want us to know?
They is the dominant society.
Okay.
It has always been. When we talk about institutional racism and who has the ability to legislate prejudice, there's your answer. That's who they is, the dominant society, as it's always been in this country. The dominant society oppresses the non-dominant portion of society. That's human nature. That's how it's always been. Mm-hmm. So what it is they don't want us to know is the language of the game, so that we can get in the game and be players and be relevant in the game. Because us becoming empowered doesn't necessarily harm the dominant society, other than from a capitalist perspective, it changes our position on the playing field. So if we are now informed participants, if we're now players in and of the game, then the reality is we become empowered. It has to do with consumerism, which the dominant society relies heavily upon consumerism of the black community, which is, let's face it, over $1 billion a year. But it's not being constructively used, so they're enjoying that right now. If we become empowered, maybe less so then.
Right. Yeah, maybe less so then, exactly. Now listen, I got just a couple of minutes here, but I wanted, I know that what your objective is. So in 30 seconds, can you tell us what your goal or objective is in working, tirelessly as you are and getting this message out to the people?
As I said initially, it's passion, but my objective is to spread the message. It's not something that can be changed at a singular or individual level. It must be a communal change. It must be a paradigm shift in our thinking as a community, a paradigm shift in the things that we prioritize. And as I said a few minutes ago, the things that we value, so that we can begin to covet these things that are so relevant to establishing true legacy in a capitalist society. My objective is to spread this message to every black person in the United States.
Okay. Now, let's do this here, because I got to close up here in a second. How can folks get in touch with you and get the book? Now, I've posted a link on our Facebook page, facebook.com/About Your Money. Real quickly, can you give people your phone number?
Sure. 916-216-4269.
Excellent. Dameon, I really appreciate you being on the show today. We've taken it to the limit, but that's okay. So, folks, as we close, I want to thank Dameon Russell, the author of Financial Literacy and Ownership, being on our show today. Now, folks, I want to take a moment to thank all of you for listening to About Your Money Radio. It's always our quest to pursue and spread knowledge to help people from all walks of life. I encourage you to visit our website at aboutyourmoneyradio.com. And, of course, you can always give us a call at 916-238-8282. Of course, to discover what's available for you and your family in many areas of finance, visit our website, aboutyourmoneyradio.com. This is Michael Andrews. I look forward to serving you and, of course, coming to you again on our next broadcast. Until then, may God bless you and your family. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to About Your Money, hosted by financial marketing strategist Michael Andrews Jr. Got questions? Need more details about a guest or a topic you heard on the show? Contact Michael right now at aboutyourmoneyradio.com. And be sure to follow us on social media at About Your Money on Facebook and Twitter for updates, financial tips, and current financial news and commentary from Michael throughout the week. About Your Money, empowering you with knowledge to create the financial freedom you deserve.